Hey everybody, welcome back to another session of relationship management. This is part 3 with our very own Mike Hill. Of course we've been talking about his story and his journey and what have you. And so we're going to just pick up and continue and talk about his journey. And again, I'm believing that as we continue to share, God can use that to give you some things to really help fuel and equip you in your own faith and encouragement, those type of things. So I'm gonna shift gears here a little bit. Well, we're gonna piggyback a little bit off of our last session, but I want to shift gears here, and how we're going to shift gears a little bit to moving forward. But so one thing I want to really talk about, we really went through the grunt work of the beginning of your journey, how things begin to unfold, and tried to unpack a little bit. Of course, there's always more to say, but try to pack a little bit for some people just to understand the not just what's happening externally, but what's happening internally and what's happening in your mind and all those type of things. Right. So, so the main thing I wanted to really talk about today is because we talk about the confidence and all those type of things and resting and everything. So, when did you start seeing things turn around for you? Like, how was that for you? What was that process? So when you finally moved from that place of waiting on God to where you finally saw that shift and then things begin to move.
So at the end, when I did my chemo at Kaiser, this is when they pretty much wrote me off. I did probably like a year or two of chemo, tried all type of stuff. Went through the holistic, came back. After I came back from the holistic doctor, they started me back on the chemo. Funny thing is my doctor was like, so she challenged me.
Okay.
She said, if you stop taking this chemo, you're gonna die. I was like, man, that's all I need to hear. Like, don't. First of all, don't tell me I'm gonna die. Like, don't tell me what's gonna happen to me. So and I was kind of on the fence about it. And then when I heard that, I said, cool, I'm good, I'm done. And then she was like begging me not to stop. So when I came back, had to face the music. She was like, I told you so. You know what I'm saying? Welcome back. But when I started taking the chemo, then my body started to reject it. Right? And I think this is the coolest thing. I don't know how to really explain it, but it started to reject it. And then she told me my last PET scan, I was getting ready for a bone marrow transplant. My pops was a half match. We had everything set up at Johns Hopkins. I'm going to be there for a couple weeks, a couple months, something like that. And then I went in, got the chemo, got the PET scan. And then she was reading the results. She was like, oh, this is bad. And I'm like, what you mean? She's like, this is bad. It didn't work, right? So we go through that, and that's when she was telling me, go take a cruise. You ain't got much time. And during this moment is when I decided in my own heart, like, well, I'm going to just beat it on my own, right? Okay. And then out of nowhere, I get a call from NIH, like 2 weeks later. And I had a breakdown moment. I'm walking my dog Snoop, RP Snoop, and I'm like looking up at this guy, and I'm like, bro, if you want me that bad, take me. And I'm like yelling, walking my dog. I say, if you want me that bad, take me. And I was like, I'm done. And my mom ain't never really seen me cry like that, but I walked into her room, fell down to my knees, and just started crying. Mm-hmm. And that was the moment where I was like, I'm done, bro. And then it's like having done all, or the other one I like, he'll never give you more than you can bear, right? Mm-hmm. And so when I felt that like I was done, like very next day, here's a call from NIH, right? And they was like, yeah, we can enter you into our protocol. Talked to that doctor. I was like, yeah, man, doctor told me there's nothing they can do. He said, it's always something they can do. They just didn't want to waste no more money. So they chose money over my life. So now I'm like fuel to the fire. Now I'm like getting my fight back, right?
Right.
And I'm going through all these protocols with NIH, and like still nothing is working. So they say. And this is like this is leading to the resting. So I get in the hospital and they say stem cell transplant. They say it's a 50-50 chance that you'll live or die. They said we're going to hit you with the highest dosage of chemotherapy. It's going to erase your immune system. And then we're going to take your stem cells out, clean them, put them back in. Your stem cells should recognize your body, create a new immune system. If they don't recognize your body, it'll attack the immune system.
No.
And it's a wrap. And I was like, this is why dog culture is so cool. I was like, he was like, what you want to do? It's 50-50 chance. I said, Doc, I'm a dog, bro. Like, I'm not dying. I was like, I don't think you know who I serve. Like, and this is when I started to become bold because I had to. Like, right. I didn't have time to play no more. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know if you know who I serve. Like, I'm a dog. I'm not dying. And so the stem cell transplant, I'm in the hospital for like 3 months. And now I'm not getting chemo at all because they got to like prepare my body to do whatever. And so the cancer was growing because there's nothing to stop it from growing. So now I'm taking this drug Dilaudid that's knocking it out, but only for 2 hours. And I can only have it every 4 hours. So this is like, when I wake up, I'm like, I need it. And they wouldn't give it to me. And so now this pain that I'm dealing with is like, I decided to rest during the hard part. Like, during the pain, like I stopped. This is when I stopped doing the confessions, stopped doing all that stuff. Like, I can't do it no more. And then R.I.P. Bishop Ivy pulls up on me. And this is weird because like I didn't even know he knew, right? So Bishop Ivy pulls up on me like a week before my stem cell transplant, and he just comes and he's like, I just want you to know that you're gonna be all right. And he said, God hears you, you're gonna be all right. And he prayed with me. And it's like when I decided to trust him, I could see like confirmation of the trust, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm saying.
And you know, like with me deciding not to read no more, with people showing up out the blue, you know what I'm saying, giving me reassurance. And in the moment I did need it. Reassurance that like God heard you. Don't trip. Stay in the fight. And this is the cool part of the stem cells. Now that I look back, it's like you have everything you need already on the inside of you. Mm-hmm. You just have to purge your old way of thinking, clean the stem cells, put the new way of thinking back in, and allow that to create what's already yours, your healing.
Nice.
It's right? Mm-hmm. It's crazy, right? And I ain't realized, like, I got that like a year ago. I said, bro, I already had it in me. I just didn't know it. I'm out there searching for something that's already here. I'm working for something that's already here. I just need to unlock what's in here. And so once I did that, I felt like life just started to act right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I did the stem cell transplant. That was harder than everything. Like all the chemo, when I say they hit me with the highest doses of chemotherapy for 7 days straight, like they wiped me out. Now, mind you, when I got there, I was running around the hospital, shirt off with my little IV, and they like, oh, he's amazing. And I'm like showing off because I'm like, I'm gonna show him, like I'm not dying, right?
Right.
And then after the stem cell, they like, yo, you gotta get out the bed. I was like, I can't. Like I was so depleted, I didn't know. Like I was like, I can't move. And they were like, you have to, or blood clots, or this or that. And my mom, segue, I told my mom stop showing up because I did try to bow out in the hospital too. Before like I decided I'm gonna fight, I was like, I'm good. Like you ain't got to come no more. Because I was done. I was like, I'm done. And of course she showed up every day, Bible in hand, slept beside me. So she was just like encouraging me through it all. Encourage me. And then after I got home, it was like, okay. I didn't need the doctor to tell me that you're cancer free. You know what I'm saying? It was just something I knew. It was cool to hear it, but it was just something I knew. Once I made the decision, like I just knew that, yeah, that's it.
Right. So when you did, I guess that's the thing. When you know that you know, even I no longer need nobody to tell me that I have it because I know it.
Yeah.
I think that when it comes to spiritual things, like that's the foundation of all breakthrough.
Yeah. Now I don't know if I answered your question at all.
Yeah, no, yeah. Right. I'm saying, but you did. I'm saying, okay. I'm saying, walking us through the journey of the turning point. Like these is, and you're giving us okay, this is what happened, and these are the conclusions I had to go through to get me to here, and how God, and where God met you. To me, it's like you didn't know what you know now,
right?
But thank God in His mercy. People don't even understand. Like Thomas, even though Thomas said, "Until I put my," but you know what Jesus did? He said, "Here, put your finger in my hand, put your hand in my." In other words, He'll meet us at the point of where we can believe and where we can have that confidence. Yeah. And if God said, if you can just give me that, I can work there. But sometimes we don't even give God that because we've been so, I guess, maybe mistaught by bad theology or the battles, whatever type thing just got in. And that's real. And sometimes we have to understand that when we go through stuff that don't make sense and like I'm doing everything that's getting worse and it's just all hope looks like all hope is lost. Having those moments where you're breaking down and all the type of stuff, because sometimes it's not just a place of just unbelief, it's just a place of just the whole process, the journey. It all hurts like just not seeing the end of the tunnel. And a lot of us can go to that where we can be so frustrated and just feel like we're so by ourselves, because I'm sure that you were probably at a place where in a space, and I guess I've been there and everybody's been there in their own context, where you're in a place in your own journey where I know y'all in the room, but I'm still by myself. Right. I'm not saying, it's almost like you're not trying to come off like nobody understands. You're trying to be mean. It's just that sometimes the nature of certain battles, even though I'm around other people, I can still feel so isolated.
It was crazy. It was that's exactly how I felt. Like, you don't understand. So please don't tell me what to do. Please don't tell me you feel me, because you don't. You hear me, but you don't feel me. And the craziest thing, I was so upset that I was pushing people away, and I didn't want nobody to know. But the people I did relate to were the nurses, and the doctors, because I was like, at least they understand. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that was the weirdest thing. Like, I was connecting with them. I was like, well, they get it, but y'all don't get it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I felt like, and I think I was a jerk, and at times I ain't want to be, but it was just so much going on, and then so many people telling me what to do. I'm like, bro, you never been here.
Right.
So you can't tell me. And that's why I tell people all the time, like, if I try to, and it helped me with pregnancy with my wife, like, I can't tell her how to carry the baby. Although I was trying to. I'm like, just drink your water. Right. It's not that hard. But like, it's like you telling me just keep fighting. Like, bro, you haven't been here. You don't know what it's like. Right? So it was the people who understood most is what I thought is who I was like trusting, like conversing with, like opening up, talking to.
Yeah, right? I got you.
And it was it's weird how that works, but.
And so I would say that everybody, and we talking about relationships, right? When we listen to our story, if you hear how Mike had so many different, how God used so many different types of relationships along the journey. And so towards the end there, right before the breakthrough, God used some of the people who are uncommon, meaning that you would think it'd be family and friends, how God used people who wasn't even related to him.
Right.
So I'm saying that, so it was almost like where in one side, because I think what happened was that, and where we can make the mistake sometimes. Sometimes we got to be careful where we want to help, but we have to realize that people don't always need a teacher or a preacher. Sometimes I just need you to say, listen, I'm here. Don't understand what you're going through. Yeah. I'm just here.
Or don't say nothing. Just sit in the room.
Right.
Like, that was the best thing for me. Like, my mom just showed up, just read her Bible. I was like, that's my dog. But when people, show up and give you advice, like, I don't want to hear that.
Right, exactly, yeah, because you're at a place where it's a thing where, like, I remember where they told about this situation, like with your situation. So here's my side of it. So they told me about what you was going through, whatever. And I said, as a pastor, you should go up there to see somebody. I said, but nah. I'm not doing it. And I said, and this is why I said, he might not even understand why I'm not going. It make it even come off as insensitive. It's a lot of people don't, people don't understand. I said, but no. I said, in his faith, I said, that's the worst thing I can do right now. And I'm going to tell you why. I said that because he's planning on getting out of there. And I cannot go up there and send an unspoken message like he's not coming out of there.
It's crazy. Yeah, that's good.
So I never told you that, but that was the reason why. Because I knew that me coming up there would have been an unspoken message that this is bad and you may not make it. I said, and I cannot send that level of unbelief even in my way of trying to help you. So I said, you know what, God? You getting through this, like, so what I did, I prayed for you, but I didn't tell. I said, because it's not for me to tell you, but I said, God, so you're going to get him through this, keep giving him the strength, and I said, he's going to recover, he's going to come out of this, and he's going to be better for it. That's pretty much what I said. Yeah. And that was it, and then you came out of it. Yes, sir. So anyway, and so that's good. So now God brought you out, so now, here we have dog culture.
Big dog.
So now this is because where your pain becomes your passion, your misery becomes your ministry. So I guess tell the people a little bit about what dog culture is about now. We understand. I guess what birthed it. We know what birthed it, but I guess your thought process and what the mission and the vision is from how you connecting your story to dog culture.
Yeah. So it actually came from me being in the hospital.
We take about 10 more minutes.
Me being in the hospital and seeing little kids go through the same thing I was going through.
Okay.
And I was like, there's no way. Like, if I know what I'm feeling, there's no way that they should be feeling this. There's no way that they are that strong where they going through that. I said, man, when I get out of here, I got to do something for them. Like, I got to do something for the babies because it was like 2-3-year-olds, some like infants. You know what I'm saying? Like the same chemo that I'm taking. And I know what it was doing to me. So when I got out, I wasn't necessarily thinking about it at the moment, but I started working and one of my coworkers came in crying, right? And it's weird though, because when you've had cancer or when you've battled cancer, you know what it looked like, right? And so one of my coworkers came in crying. It didn't look like it yet because she just found out, and then I like overheard her saying, stage 2 cancer, So I said, all right, there's no way I'm gonna let her go through this by herself. So I walked up to her. I said, hey, I was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. They told me I was going to die. I'm still here. You ain't got to go just because they say so, right? And then like her whole demeanor changed. A couple months later, she come in crying again, hugging me. And she was like, ever since you told me that you made it, I knew I could make it. And I was like, oh, shoot. And I was like, this ain't what that. Because I've never been a speaker. I've never been a talker. I was like, nope, not doing that, not doing it. And then I started bumping into more cancer patients. I'm like, bro, God, this ain't it. Like, I don't want to do this. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not talking to everybody who got cancer. And then, but I couldn't not tell them that they're going to be all right. And this was one of my good friends from high school, Cliff. He had cancer, stage 4. So I reached out to him. I said, bro, you going to be all right, man. It's like, I was like, you got too much dog in you. We play football. I know who you are. And that just became like a cycle where I just kept bumping into people who had cancer. Or I would see somebody and just walk up on them and be like, you can be all right, man. And so I said, all right, well, pain and the purpose. So how do we help as many people as we possibly can? You got to tell your story. And I was like, all right, what does that look like? And then it was, Mark Foster, right? I was talking to Mark, and I was like, bro, I hate this job. I'm not supposed to be behind no desk. He said, well, create your own. I'm like, what does that even mean? He was like, create your own job. Like, don't cry about it. Do something about it. And I was like, whatever. Didn't do nothing about it. Couple months later, Sister Melissa, right?
Yeah.
Working with her, I told her, I said, call me whenever, right? We going back and forth. I'm, talking to her, whatever. I get married, go on my honeymoon, and then I ain't hear from her, so I called her back. I like, what's up? You ain't been reaching out. She's like, nah, you got married, life. I said, no, 24/7, whatever you need, like, I'm here. And then she passes away, right? And I said, man, I'm playing, right? I said, I'm like talking about helping people, and I'm not doing my part. Like, if you're gonna do it, like, do it to where you can help whomever, wherever, whenever, and you ain't gotta be in the same space. Social media is there, so do something with that. So I was like, all right, well, let's just start telling them. So Sis Melissa is the real reason why I was like, stop playing, create the brand. What's it going to be? First, it was dog movement. It was weird. I was like, yeah, dog. I said, first it was just dog. I said, did it all with God. Let's do that. Then I was like, well, I don't want to turn people away if I start talking about God. This is a real thing. I was like, I don't want to do that. So let's create a different acronym. So what does a dog really need to be about? Like, what does the mindset of a dog stand for? Desire, attitude, will, grind. My desire, and I started thinking about myself, my desire to live was bigger than every obstacle that I had to face, every bad doctor's report, every doctor that told me I wasn't going to make it. My desire to live was bigger than that. So I didn't stop. Attitude, positive attitude. No matter what happened, I did not stand, like I did not move off my stance that God is still good. My will, that's my fight. And my will was attached to my why. Another reason, like, me and my mom so close, and we always been close, but when I told her don't show up, she wasn't trying to hear it. And I was like, all right, man, if I'm a fight, I'm a fight for her. I'm not even fighting for me no more, because I told myself I was done. So I had to attach my fight to my mom, to my why, my reason. I said, okay, let me attach that to her. So now that I fight, I'm not fighting for me, because if I mess, like if I die, I let her down, right? I break her, not me, because I'm ready to go, right? So I said, attach my why to my mom. So now I have a bigger reason to fight. And now when I don't feel like it, I can pull on that strength knowing that she's dependent on me, right? So the why. Then the grind is woman with the issue of blood, 12 years or whatever, right? But I said, I'm not doing 12, 10 years. I'm not doing it. But once I began to rest, it was like, it don't matter how long it takes. It's already done. So what am I not doing? There's no time limit. So the grind is you do what you have to do until it shows up, because it's already yours. So dog, desire, attitude, will, grind. That's how we came up with the acronym. We, meaning me and myself, my dog, right? But I said, okay, I put like movement on the end of it or something. It was weird. And then one day I just was like, well, it's really a lifestyle. Because I'm a dog every day. Like, I'm a dog, football, life, relationship, whatever I do, I approach it with the same mentality. It's a culture. It's a culture. Like, it's who you are. And then dog culture was born from that. Got the LLC. And then I just started walking my dog, calling it dog walk or dog talk. I'm walking my dog, telling my story. And I'm doing that for a couple months. And then I always, I'm always working out, and I'm always running hills. I'm always like on the hill working out, because when I met my trainer, Craig Mitchell, shout out to you, I was the slowest person on my football team. This dude put me through hill workouts, tire workouts, running in the rain, sleet, snow. It was raining one morning. I was like, we still working out? He's like, you play in the rain, don't you? I said, yeah, well, I guess you're right. And that mindset that created the dog that I became as a football player, like, I still do that to this day. And so even though, I'm battling cancer or whatever, I was still going to the hill. I was still working out. I was still in the gym. And one day I was on the hill running, and I was feeling like, I just felt good. I was talking to myself, and it sounded real good. I said, somebody need to hear this. So I put my phone down and I went live. And then like 5-10 people jumped on, and I'm yelling at the camera. And I was like, oh, we gonna do it from the hill. And that's how the hill was birthed. Like, that's how I started yelling from the hill, because what I do is I break myself physically, and then mentally I take over and say, okay, the body says no, but my mind says go. And so now that my body breaks, the mind, which is stronger than anything, is telling my body, you got so much more because greater is he, right? So now I'm like talking to myself. So I don't pick up my camera until physically I'm broken.
I see.
And once I push past that point and I got my second win, I'm like, let's rock. Because now I'm talking from a place of pain. And so when you see me yelling on these videos, I'm not just out there yelling. Like, I work for at least an hour and a half until like I'm talking to myself. I'm like about to pass out, and I'm like, just go, bro. And I start calling my daughter's name out, and I start fighting like for what I'm doing it for. And then once I get past that point, I got my second win. I'll be like, it's time to talk. You know what I'm saying? So that's pretty much with dog culture.
So, and summing it up, I just for people to know about this. So we're about to land this plane. So give us a few more minutes. Where we at on that time? Okay, cool. So yeah, we're going to be too long over, but I don't want to rush this last part. Land this plane, just to really cap everything from what we talked about from beginning to end over these past few sessions. Yep. But really, the one thing is that it's great to hear a story, but we understand that we should never get stuck in our story and relive our story. We want to relive the victory from it. And that's what dog culture is about. Dog culture isn't about reliving the pain per se. It's about now taking that and now creating as a springboard for where it builds hope and expectation. So a couple things I got as you were talking. The first thing is that dog culture, from a spiritual standpoint, because I'm of course speak from a biblical standpoint, the world uses this too. It's a lost art in the main church. Really, it speaks to spiritual authority.
Okay. Because
understanding that what we're saying is cancer doesn't have dominion, depression doesn't have dominion. Your experiences don't have dominion. Because I'm saying, like, with your acronyms and what you're talking about, even though nobody may have not gone through that same level of fight, but what dog culture to me speaks to it's anything that you, I gotta say, greatness does require sacrifice. And what you're saying now is the same principles that I had I guess the grind that you had to do to go for greatness, to overcome, to have that dominion over cancer. Right. You're taking that same attitude and saying, listen, I'm not going to keep it in the box of just beating cancer. Right. Let's take this to the box of just basically saying this attitude of basically of spiritual authority, where you may not have to battle cancer, but you may have had to battle people never telling that you could never amount to anything. Battling the fact that you maybe felt like a failure all your life, dealing with rejection, or people saying you weren't fast enough, you weren't strong enough, or you wasn't smart enough, and basically saying, listen, there is no excuse, because greater is he that's in you, spiritual authority. You got everything you need. Right. And so now you just got to hook up with the right people, get the right information in you, and then that way you can begin to now have a platform by where, and I think you're using the heel as a illustration of the mentality you have to have, and basically saying that, listen, usually, this is what I've heard a great minister say this. He said, usually when you hear truth in the Bible, he said, when you're tired of hearing it, you're just getting it. A lot of times we always want to go to the new thing, but he said usually once you finally tired of hearing it, like, oh, but this is it's like you're at the wit's end with it. Right. You're just beginning to get it.
Well, they say it take like 7 times for somebody to hit something for the stick or something like that, right?
So I don't remember the number, but that's the point. But I'm saying is that because that's the whole thing of fasting. Fasting is you're pushing your body beyond its limits, because this is one of the point of fasting. Fasting is saying that when you deny your body of food, it screams. Yeah. But what you're telling your body is, listen, chill out. You thought food was the thing that drove you, that kept you alive. Yeah. I'm about to tap you into your real resource, which is your spirit man. That's the training. See, we thought it was about being closer to God.
Yeah.
No, it was about tapping into your spirit man that's already close to God, and let you know that's where the real dominion comes from. And so that's where a lot of times we miss it. And I guess I'm really wanting to the people to understand the heartbeat, because from me just looking at it, that's what dog culture to me is about. It's not about you beating cancer. Yes, that's one aspect, but it's really about a message to people who feel like they can't win, and just realizing that no, that's a lie. If you just understand your authority in the dominion that you have, and you pretty much describe it as dog culture.
Right. So everybody can relate to it because everybody has the dream.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody has something that they want in life, or they know who they want to become, and they just might, or they might be where they want to be, but we know there's no real destination. Like, there's always levels of growth. We always supposed to be elevating. So for the person that, honestly, for the people who are wondering when it's going to be over, like, we want to bring it down to like the foundation of it, because that's what it started. Like, when is this battle going to end? It's when you wake up. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not, God ain't waiting for, you know what I'm saying, you to have enough to, you know what I'm saying, say, all right, you can come out. The problem with most folks is they don't understand that it's through the storm where you gather like the lessons that build your character, that gets you to a place, once you get to that other side of it, you're able to sustain what you've learned from it, or the blessing that comes with the recompense of reward, right? So it's not running from what you're facing, it's actually facing it.
Yes.
Actually going through it and learning, like, who am I? Like, these I look at situations like everything is an opportunity. Opportunity to find out who I am, opportunity to find out if I am who I say I am. So now when life happens, I can happen back, instead of wondering why is it happening to me. Like, we know what is happening for us. All right, so how can I, even with death, right? Like, a good friend of mine, my young boy, man, Neil McDonald, he passed away, or he was murdered a couple months ago. And it's like, even with that, like, all right, what am I supposed to pull out of that, right? And it's me allowing his legacy to live through me. Like, his spirit, everything that I got when I was in his presence, I'm that now. So I take that, I add it to me so he can live on forever. Because, like, it's we have to find it. Because if you don't find it, then what happened to you, that event, will control you. Right? And it might happen to you, or it might happen to somebody else, and it affects you, and then it happened to you too. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So dog culture is understand that I'm greater than whatever comes my way. Yeah. And we use the term dog because it sounds good.
Right. And it's relatable, and we understand that terminology. Yeah. And so I would just say is this, and that's why I guess to close out with this, and then I'm give the closing remarks here. But I would say is that with dog culture, and that's one thing I wanted to tell people is this, is that, the takeaway from your story, and just to remind people, listen, sometimes, we're in our situation or our battle right now, but one thing I love about dog culture is this, is that you're not making cancer your story. Yeah. You're making your big purpose of greatness your story. Yeah. And that was just a chapter in the main theme of the story of your life. Right. And I just think that a lot of times we have to remember that what I'm going through is just a chapter, and never lose sight of the big picture, that whatever I'm going to take away from, like you were just saying, the battles, the lessons, that it's going to lead me to something greater and better. Why? Because it ain't about, it's like, I overcame cancer, now what, right? Yeah, see, we don't want to be stuck there. It's almost like I'm kind of like, my whole life is just about beating that. No, it's about greater purpose. And I guess I want to say, for those, encourage those to link up with dog culture. Why? Because the mission of dog culture is not about you getting stuck in your story, but letting your story be connected as a chapter to the big purpose, and you help giving you tools and and motivations to help you achieve and maximize your purpose and your dreams and whatever next may look like. So that's what I just wanted to put that out there as an encouragement to everybody. So so what we're going to do is we're going to bring it to a close for the day, but to
hold up.
Well, okay. Go ahead. You want to add something? All right.
Nah.
I guess I get him going. That's fine. It's all good though.
So no, I'll be sure. So what I like when you talking about the story is you gotta be willing, like when you're going through whatever happens, right? So what story will you tell though? That's the question. Like, one, while you're going through, what story are you telling yourself? Right? Mm-hmm. What are you telling the story that people are telling you? Are you telling the story that stage 4 cancer, you only got a couple months to live, or you've been divorced, nobody wants you? Like, what story are you telling yourself? And then what story do you want to tell? Because we have the power to create the life that we want. So, like, the reason people, I do believe, like, I don't want to say lost, but they don't know where they're going because they don't have a plan, right? If you don't know where you want to go, if you don't know what story you want to tell, then you'll just go aimlessly through life, allowing life to happen to you, right? Saying it's not fair. But if I don't have a plan to where I want to go, then of course it won't be fair, because now anything that happens is like what I accept. Right. But if I know the story I want to tell, I don't have to accept what's not in my story, right? So when I tell folks, like, but what story do you want to tell though? I don't care what they said. Who do you want to be? What do you want in life? Like, if I met a guy who was like, yeah, I can't have kids, but do you want them?
Right.
Like, who cares what they say, but do you want them? They told me I couldn't have kids. But what story do you want to tell? Yeah, I want a son. I didn't know that I wanted a daughter. I didn't know. I need me a son. My daughter showed that that's the most amazing thing that happened. But it's like I didn't agree to what they told me. I'm gonna tell myself what I want, and I'm gonna go get that. And a lot of people get caught up on experts telling you your truth when the expert said you can do all things. Like, it's nothing that you imagine you can do. Like, what? All I gotta use is my imagination. People, like, we get so caught up in the day-to-day, we don't even imagine what I want and who. Like, what story do I want to tell the world, and what story will they tell when I'm gone? And that's why you start from the grave and walk backwards. Like, so for me, like, when I leave, I'm gonna leave my mark.
Yes.
Right? And it ain't just gonna be with speaking and my family, my great grandchildren. Oh yeah, I don't work because my great grandfather Gunny made sure he did what he was supposed to do. So now we have a legacy, and we run our system. We have our own system. So it's like, if you don't know what story you want to tell, you'll believe any story they tell you. Right. That's all I want to say.
Yes, sir.
And take cold showers.
I don't know about that, but everything else, yes, sir. So anyway, so in bringing it to a close for the day. So our next session, we want to open it up for Q&A. And so when you first see this, and I should have probably put it, this is the last one. But anyway, I'll probably have to make that announcement too, but we'll probably send it out. So really like to get your questions, because we really want to, I'm sure some things that were shared, maybe you have some questions from it, and we really want to better serve you and help. Because, people talk, you're going to pick up and hear certain things that you hear. So please send in your questions that you may have. And so the email address that you send it to is waccrw@gmail.com. Okay? waccrw@gmail.com. So it should be pretty simple, because it stands for World Life Christian Center Relationship Wednesday @gmail.com. All right. So God bless you. Stay blessed by the best, and we'll see you here next week.
And follow us on Instagram @dawg_culture, DAWG_culture, and Twitter, and X and TikTok when they unban it.
All right. God bless you.
And YouTube.
Thank you for joining Pastor Wayne Powell Sr. for this edition of Relationship Wednesday. We hope you enjoyed this episode of After I Did. Let's keep the conversation going by leaving your questions and comments in the chat. We also invite you to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. And don't forget to click the notification bell so you are reminded to join us next Wednesday as Pastor Wayne continues this discussion of After I Did.